Mersin Museum of Archaeology is a marvelous museum that reflects prehistoric times. Located in Mersin City, Mersin Museum showcases the archaeological remains of the area. The museum consists of 2 floors where many artifacts are displayed. The first floor of this museum depicts the Roman period, and the second floor exhibits metal ornaments, utensils, handicrafts, and pottery elements of the Bronze Age, Chalcolithic, and Neolithic. Other antiques that you can find in this museum are carpets, ornaments, clothes, weapons, and 999 coins. Mersin Museum of Archaeology is among the top museums in Turkey. Troy Museum is the most magnificent museum in Turkey. This museum houses the artifacts found in the ancient city of Troy. It also exhibits the images of excavation held in the ancient city of Troy. Furthermore, the life in Troy during the Chalcolithic, Iron Age, Neolithic, and Bronze Age has also been showcased at the entrance of this museum. For all the history enthusiasts, it is one of the best museums in Turkey to visit. Antalya Museum is one of the splendid museums in Turkey. It showcases about 5,000 artworks in 13 halls. The museum exhibits fascinating Roman sculptures and the statue of Heracles. These statues and sculptures are Antalya Museum's most popular exhibits. Antalya Museum is a must-visit place for exploring the ancient civilizations and the history of Turkey. This museum was founded in 1922 and opened to the general public in 1972. Over the years, Antalya Museum has grown in size and gained huge popularity today. The Museum of Turkish and Islamic Art is one of the most spectacular museums in Turkey. It is the only museum in Turkey that houses an extensive collection of Turkish and Islamic arts together. It first opened its doors to tourists in 1914. It was also the last museum that opened during the Ottoman Empire period. The museum showcases different artifacts, including rugs, carpets, wooden doors, oil lamps, manuscripts, and lanterns. The Museum of Turkish and Islamic Art has been described as a carpet museum for its richness and diversity. If you are visiting Turkey, this museum should be on your list. Zeugma Mosaic Museum is one of the best museums in Turkey. This museum is the world's biggest mosaic museum that houses a stunning collection of mosaics from the historic city of Zeugma. The Zeugma mosaic is considered some of the finest Roman mosaics worldwide. The most renowned piece in the museum's collection is the Gypsy Girl. The beauty of Zeugma mosaics in Gaziantep will make you believe that they are one of the top archaeological treasures in Turkey. So, if you are visiting Turkey, don't forget to add Zeugma Mosaic Museum to your itinerary. Dolmabahce Palace is one of the most magnificent museums in Turkey. Pierced like a jewel on the banks of the Bosphorus, the Dolmabahce Palace opened its doors to the public as a museum in 1984. The museum has several buildings, including an aviary, glass factory, foundry, apartment of the Crown Prince, the clock tower, departure kiosks, and stables. Dolmabahce Palace is one of the biggest palaces in Turkey, having 285 rooms, 68 toilets, 44 halls, and 6 Turkish baths. Nurturing over 50,000 elements in hundreds of rooms, this museum is a sight to behold. From its marvelous architecture to decorative objects, thousands of tourists visit this palace for its exceptional beauty. Istanbul Archaeology Museum is the most famous museum in Istanbul among all history buffs. This museum consists of three major sections: the Archaeological Museum, the Museum of Islamic Art, and the Museums of the Ancient Orient. 1 million archaeological artifacts from different countries and civilizations are displayed in the halls. If you are in Turkey, don't miss out on visiting this archaeological museum. Here, you will get a chance to explore and unearth beautiful artifacts of ancient times. Istanbul Modern Art Museum is the glittering charm of Turkey that preserves the incredible collection of present-day artwork. One of the most intriguing and impressive art museums, this museum is famous in Istanbul. In addition to captivating exhibitions, Istanbul Modern Art Museum allows tourists to explore photography halls, libraries, cinemas, cafes, stores, and more. Most of the art collection in the Istanbul Modern Art Museum is from the collection of the Eczacıbaşı family. Pera Museum is one of the most exquisite and most loved museums in Turkey. This art museum focuses on Orientalism in 19th century art. The museum is home to three art collections, including Anatolian weights and measures, Kütahya tiles and ceramics, and Orientalist paintings. One of the most significant artifacts that Pera has is the tortoise trainer painting. The tortoise trainer is also one of the most expensive pieces of art ever sold. This famous museum was once the historic Hotel Bristol. Apart from admiring the renowned art pieces, you can relax at Pera Museum Cafe and relish good food, drinks, and desserts. Mevlana Museum is one of the most famous museums in Turkey. Home of renowned poet, Persian mystic, and religious leader Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. This museum is dedicated to Rumi. The exquisite architecture of this remarkable museum allures a fair amount of people, primarily lovers of Rumi. Mevlana Museum houses the elements associated with a Rumi, such as books, Qurans, prayer carpets, metal and wooden artworks, conical caps, and much more. The magnificent structure of the museum has divided into many sections, such as dervish cells, library, chant room, outdoors, yard, kitchen, semihane, and others. Located in the Ankara province of Turkey, Anatolian Civilizations Museum is the most significant museum in Turkey. This museum lies inside the two Ottoman buildings near Ankara Castle. It was also elected as the Museum of the Year in 1997. The history of the museum is deeply rooted in its iconic architecture. For all the history enthusiasts, this museum is a must-visit. The Anatolian Museum houses fascinating elements, including pieces of ancient jewelry. Hagia Sophia Museum is a long-held secret of Turkey. Adorned with 30 million gold tiles, Hagia Sophia is one of the best museums in Istanbul. This architecturally rich museum fascinates tourists with its stunning features and rich history that dates back centuries. Hagia Sophia has a long journey, from being a church to a mosque to a museum now. Started in 1935, Hagia Sophia Museum has become the most visited museum in Turkey. Hagia Sophia has always been of great significance amongst the locals and tourists. Topkapi Palace Museum is the most glorious museum in Turkey. Located in the Fatih district of Istanbul, this legendary museum exhibits a marvelous collection of heirlooms, books, and manuscripts of the ancient era. This beautiful museum had been a residence of the Ottoman sultans. Built in the 15th century by Sultan Mehmed II, this palace has an intriguing history that captivates the attention of history buffs. The impressive architecture of this museum depicts the life of Ottomans that used to live here during the ancient time. Being listed as one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Topkapi Museum is the most famous museum in Istanbul. Home to ancient artifacts, coins, sculptures, and remnants, the Ephesus is one of the most visited museums in Turkey. It also has several galleries, halls, shops, and cafes. If you plan to visit this museum, you shouldn't miss watching the 10-minute 3D simulation video of ancient Ephesus. With the help of this video, you can visualize the setting of the historical city and get an idea of how the buildings used to look.